Okay. Let's begin on our backs. Get nice and comfortable if you're not already there yet. And I have a little object lesson for you. I hope you can humor me. I brought something for show and tell. You know, I really like plants, and I have learned, um, or I have been reminded of a very important principle, a very important lesson. Sorry. I have been reminded of a very important lesson by something that I did a couple weeks ago, which is I was stopping by a coffee shop in LA, and there was a beautiful palm that was living on the sidewalk, just living in the landscaping, and it was just going crazy. It was so happy there, and it had made a lot of seeds. Okay, it had covered the sidewalk in seeds. They were everywhere. You couldn't miss it. It was like pebbles all over the sidewalk, and there were these, beautiful shiny seeds. And I decided that I would pick some seeds up and see if I could grow the seeds. And I've never tried planting seeds before, so I was a little scared, but I Googled how to root palm seeds, and I learned that you're supposed to soak them in water overnight, which I did. And then the next morning, I pushed them into some very dense, very moist soil, and I covered them up. And then I put a glass jar over top of them, like this. I put this glass jar right over top of them, and that was about 10 days ago. And 10 days later, this is what they look like. These beautiful, perfect seedlings have grown from the seeds, okay? And I think we can learn so many beautiful lessons from seeds, especially right now, because seeds require the right conditions. They require enough water, enough light, right? I accidentally managed to put them in the right lighting situation. But for the most part, they just require to be left alone, left to their own devices, and they will do what is within them will come out. All right. And so I want you to think about what seeds you have planted during your time, during this time of quiet, this time of isolation, this time that maybe you've been feeling like you've been set on the windowsill and off to the side. What seeds are growing in your life? What seeds have grown over the last 3 or 4 months? Intentionally or unintentionally? There probably has been new behavior, new habits, new circumstances that you have taken on, and they might be good and they might be bad. They also might be neutral. But because we know that seeds have grown in your life over the last few months, when you acknowledge that and when you think intentionally about that, you can uproot those seeds if you're not happy with what has sprouted. Maybe you've taken on a habit of worrying. Maybe you've taken on a habit of avoiding or coping. Maybe you have a coping mechanism, a new coping mechanism that you've developed that maybe it's time to uproot. Okay, so that might be the negative side. Or maybe you have developed a new skill, or you have discovered a new passion, or you have established a new habit that you want to keep cultivating. But the thing about seeds and the thing about seedlings is that they are very delicate. And so now is a great time to consider what you want to keep cultivating and keep nurturing, or whether you want to uproot and perhaps till that soil and plant some different seeds, establish some different seedlings. So just something to think about, something I've been thinking about. And honestly, there's some things that I am proud of that I've cultivated during the last few months. And then there's some things that I have decided it's time to move on from, and it's time to maybe replace, because anytime you Anytime you stop something, it's a lot easier to replace it rather than remove it. And so perhaps there are some seeds or seedlings that you can replace in your life as well. So I hope that was helpful for someone. Let's be on our backs. And I'm leaving my seedlings here as a little reminder here on the corner of my trunk. All right, be on your backs. This is going to be a pretty mellow practice because I am on the tired side today. I just did my workout, and so I'm going to slow it down, and we're going to do some more like physical therapy type movements, I think. So let's go ahead and inhale, arms overhead, point the toes toward the front, reach and extend. Exhale, hug the knees, rounding the spine. Inhale, reach and extend. Exhale, hug the knees to the chest, round the spine. Keep going with your own breath. 1 second. I just got that little beep in my microphone that tells me my battery's dying, so I'm going to disconnect it, but keep going with your breath.
Okay, so we're gonna stick with the laptop microphone and I'm just gonna project towards you. Just as good. All right, keep moving with your breath. Inhale to extend, exhale to hug the knees to the chest. Forward, backward flexion of the spine. Now go ahead and relax. I'm gonna bend the knees and have the feet nice and wide on the mat. And now if you would, goal post your arms as you lie down on your back. So take a 90-degree angle with your arms and have the backs of the hands on the earth. And if you just glance at your elbows, the idea here is that your elbow is in line with your shoulders, making 90 degrees or goal posts, like I just said. And so what I want you to do is we're gonna slowly draw the fingers toward the sky and then down toward the earth and close the palms toward the floor. If you can't touch your palms to the floor, that's fine. Just move them toward that direction. So we're gonna just flow the arms into an external rotation goalpost and an internal rotation, closing the palms down. So just move with your breath, mindfully rotating the shoulders here. All right, now again, hug just the right knee to the chest and relax the left knee down onto the earth and start to take some little knee circles here. Breathe into that right hip, the inner thigh, the outer hip, and as you start to draw these circles, you might widen the circles more and more or turn it into a little right to left swinging, sweeping motion. Just kind of explore range of motion here in the hip and also in the low back. As you start to move, you might start to incorporate some twisting movements here, drawing the right leg across the body, but stay with the right leg. So whatever you do with the right leg, just pass it around and explore some organic movement here. And if it would feel really nice for you, you can also explore more of the joints in that leg. So you might try rolling out the ankle, you might try pointing, flexing the foot, you might even try starting to test out an extension of the knee, see how that feels. Just explore that right leg here in the beginning. All right, now go ahead and set that right leg down onto the earth, and let's do the same thing with the left. Pick up the left knee and start to draw little circles with that knee. And as you're supporting it with your hands, you might widen the circle. And let's do that same little routine, that nice organic exploration here of that left leg now. You want to open it up, open up the inner thigh, maybe take it across the body. You're in the beginning of our practice as we're just kind of exploring what feels good. Don't necessarily push yourself into uncharted or uncomfortable territory just yet because you're just warming up. And then we go ahead and slowly hug both knees to the chest this time. So we're gonna roll up and down the length of the spine, up to the neck, down to the tailbone. And after you've done that a few times, roll over the ankles, take it up into tabletop. Forward, backward flexion of the spine. So inhale as you draw the sternum forward, gaze goes up. Exhale as you round the spine, tuck the chin to the chest. Inhale for the back bend. Exhale to round. Inhale for the back bend. Exhale to round. We're gonna get our arms and legs into it. So go ahead and pick up the right leg, press it back behind you, pick up the left arm. You've probably done this before. Inhale. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach, extend. Tabletop on the exhale. Other side, pick up the left leg, press it back behind you. The heel presses toward the back of the room. Pick up the right arm. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Knee to elbow on the exhale. Inhale, reach, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Last time, inhale to reach. And this time back to tabletop. So bring the toes to touch, step the knees nice and wide, reach the arms forward, coming into child's pose. And for the next few breaths, find true relaxation here on the mat. So a nice way to do this is to scan the body from the soles of the feet up to the crown of the head and then beyond into the fingertips. And so start by thinking about your toes. And can you relax your toes? Can you relax the balls of your feet? Can you relax the ankles? Notice the earth beneath the tops of your feet. Notice the earth beneath your shins, beneath your knees. Can you relax your tailbone toward the earth? Your low back, your inner thighs. Relax your belly, your rib cage, that space between your shoulder blades, your shoulders, your neck, your jaw, your forehead, your elbows, your wrists, your palms, and your fingertips. Find stillness, find comfort. And now from this resting pose, we're gonna incorporate a little bit of activity in the upper back. And this is gonna be kind of a subtle movement, but it will be kind of challenging. So if you've ever done Pilates or mat Pilates or something like that, you're familiar with what happens is that sometimes you're putting a lot of effort into a teeny tiny movement that you can only get 1 inch of range of motion on. You're still doing it right, okay? So what you're gonna do is from child's pose, I want you to reach the palms as far forward on the mat as you can. Pick the elbows up off the mat and get really straight from your wrist to your tailbone. And now with your forehead on the mat, I want you to pick up just the right hand without twisting and opening up your chest to the side. Can you pick up the right hand using a lot of action in the upper back? Now set it back down. Same thing on the other side. Pick up the left hand. Find a lot of action in the upper back. You don't have to pick it up high, even an inch off the mat. A half an inch off the mat is fine. Set it back down. Let's go back to the right side. Pick it up. Really active in the upper back. Set it back down. Left side, pick it up. And set it back down. Checking with your breathing. Are you breathing or are you holding your breath? We're actually going to do 10 more each side. So buckle up for the long haul. Pick up the right hand. Set it back down. Left hand. Set it back down. to the right, and down, to the left, and down, to the right, down, left, down, right, down, left, down, right, down, left, down, halfway, right, down, left, down, right, down, left, down, right, down, left, down, to each side, right, down, left, down, two more, right, down, and left, down. Nice job. So you probably put a lot of action in your shoulders, your upper back. So go ahead and from child's pose, walk your knees towards each other, have your forehead on the mat, and reach the arms towards your feet with the palms up toward the sky. You probably fired up that space in the upper back between the shoulder blades. So maybe give it a little moment to relax and unwind just a little bit. Nice job. I like to think of movements like that, almost like taking your vitamins, right? That it's not necessarily fun while you're doing it, but you notice afterward, wow, I feel really good. I feel like those muscles are switched on. It's because you did something intentionally to switch them on. They were probably tired and switched off and starting to atrophy or stretched out from the day, and getting to switch those on and wake those up has a chain reaction to the other joints in your body. Okay, let's bring it. Actually, go ahead and lie down on your front side. And now we're gonna explore some internal, external rotation in the hips here. So what I want you to do is, don't do this right now, but your head eventually, your forehead is gonna be just resting on your hands, like that. But what I want you to do is take the right knee and bend the right hip, right knee, so your knee is out to the side with the inside of your thigh on the earth. And all you're gonna do is pick up the right foot and then set it back down. Pick up the right foot, set it back down. We're gonna do 10 on this side. Pick it up, set it back down. I promise you didn't accidentally come to an interval training class. I've just been watching lots of PT videos on Instagram lately, and I'm thinking, man, we need that on the yoga mat. Do 2 more, picking up the foot, setting it back down, and now we're gonna go into it on the other side. Pick up the left leg, have the left knee out to the side. So bend the left hip, left knee, and I didn't set my head down last time, but that's because I was talking to you. Remember to set your forehead down on your hands so that your upper body is relaxed. We're gonna do this on the left side, 10 on this side. Internal rotations, up and down. See just how far you can go in that range of motion in the hip. Spoiler alert, we're gonna go the other way in a second. Do 3 more. All right, back to the right side now. Bend the right knee so it's in line with the hip again. And now this time, instead of picking up the foot, you're gonna pick up the knee. Okay, it's gonna be a lot harder. Most people have a lot less range of motion in this particular movement. So what I want you to do, you're gonna do 10 on this side. What I want you to do is, just like in child's pose, where you're trying not to move the rest of your body, all right? This is not about picking your knee up 6 inches off the mat. If you just get a ½ inch, if you just get a millimeter off the mat, that's a great start. Do 2 more. And now straighten it out. Other side, pick up the left leg, have the left knee in line with the hip. Relax the forehead down onto the mat. Let's do 10. All right, now bring it back to center. Have the legs out straight. We're gonna come into Sphinx pose here. So bring your elbows beneath the shoulders, palms press down onto the earth so your forearms are parallel with each other. Draw the sternum forward between the upper arms, squeeze the shoulder blades together and breathe. And now be mindful of your low back, low belly. So tuck the tailbone under to engage the low belly so that it's not just dumping that back bend into the low back. All right, press the palms into the earth, take it back to tabletop. Curl the toes under, shift the body weight back onto the balls of the feet, straighten up the elbows, activate the fingers, take an inhale. And on the exhale, straighten the legs, lift the hips, take it back to downward facing dog and pedal the feet, right, left, right, left. Come back to that long, slow breath. Glance up at the hands and take a lot of steps to walk your feet forward to the top of the mat. Take your time. Bring your hands to the shins, halfway lift, lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Let's take it through a couple full sun salutations. We're gonna go really slowly and mindfully with our breaths, so there's no rush here. See if you can move. I'm gonna slow it myself down, so I'm gonna challenge you to move as slowly as I do, or if you can go even more slowly than me, that's awesome. So it's not about the destination. The journey is the destination. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step it back to plank and lower. Nice back bend on the inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. 2 breaths. Glance up at the hands, walk your feet forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more full sun salutation. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Downward facing dog. Exhale. 2 breaths. Walk your feet forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Let's get into our balance. So shift your body weight to your left leg and just pick up the right knee and hug it to your chest here. So Kind of like we were doing when we were lying down on the mat at the beginning of our practice together. You might just hold on to the knee, or if you want to try to, again, maybe start to explore some little organic movements here, makes it a little bit more challenging while you are standing on one leg, but maybe just explore some little knee circles with that right hip, only this time you're standing now. So there's a lot more involved when you're trying to maintain your balance on that one leg. So be mindful as you move, as you mobilize that hip joint, and maybe start to explore the knee joint, the ankle, maybe point flex the foot, but just have fun with it. And then go ahead and set the right leg back down. We're gonna go into it on the other side. So shift all of your body weight to the right leg, pick up the left knee, and same thing. And maybe notice that your balance or your flexibility might be different on this side as on the other side. Not uncommon, but that's why we spend or try to spend equal amounts of time on each side, is to try to maybe explore that. All right, go ahead and set the left leg back down. Let's wander back to the top of the mat. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. Two long, slow breaths in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Sit the back heel down, or back knee down. And let's take it from the front lunge to that half split, forward, backward. Inhale as you draw the knee forward. Exhale as you roll it towards straight. When you draw that knee forward, pay special attention that you're also drawing your hips forward too, so that you're also tucking the tailbone under. This isn't just about bringing the knee forward, but you want to have that stretch in the left hip flexor. Forward, backward. All right, now on the next inhale, bring that front knee back over the front ankle, curl the back toes under, and stand up into a crescent lunge. So bring the arms overhead, palms facing each other. And now we're gonna flow back and forth in crescent lunge from having the arms overhead into airplane wings. So take an inhale, exhale, airplane wings as you hinge forward, the fingertips reach toward the back of the room. Inhale. Exhale, airplane wings. Notice that transfer of body weight as you maintain your balance. Inhale. Exhale, airplane wings. Last time, inhale. Warrior two on the exhale. Flip the right palm up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior. Gaze goes up. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, circle the hands, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. Two long, slow breaths in downward facing dog. Now inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb, lower the back knee to the earth, and let's flow forward and back from that lunge into that half split. Use your breath. And then the next time you bring it forward to a lunge, curl the back toes under, lift the back knee. So energize that back leg, find your balance, and bring the arms overhead into crescent lunge. Have a soft bend in that back knee. Both hip points are square to the front. Palms facing each other. Establish that strong back leg. The back heel is over the front, the ball of the back foot. Pick up the arms as you reach toward the sky on the inhale, and on the exhale, airplane wings. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last time, exhale. Inhale, crescent lunge. Warrior two on the exhale. Spin the back heel down. We're straight in the back leg, bent in the front knee. Gaze is over the left fingertips. Flip the left palm up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, circle the hands, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. And then take a quick pause in child's pose. Come back to your breath. And then, just for laughs, because we could all use a little bit of extra strength building in our upper back, we're gonna do that same right to left activation in the upper back in child's pose. So have your arms reaching forward. Activate the arms by straightening the elbows. Walk the palms away from your body. Arms are straight. And then with your forehead on the mat, let's start with the right side. We're gonna go right, left, 10 on each side. Here we go. Right, and down, left, down, right, down, left, down, right, down. Remember to breathe. Left, down, right, down, left, down, right, down, left, down, halfway, right, down, left, down, right, down, left, down, right, down, left, down, right, down, left, down, almost there, right, down, and left, down. Now go ahead and take it up to tabletop, and let's take it through a few rounds of cat-cow, forward, backward flexion of the spine. And it will probably feel really nice to take some organic movement here. So rather than just going forward, back, can you do some wiggly, wavy, organic movements here with the spine? Maybe you draw some circles with that rib cage. All right, let's take it back to a kneeling position. We're gonna do a stretch for the forearms that I looked up this week because I think I'm getting tendonitis. Don't get old. So for your left arm, reach out and have the palm up. So it's an external rotation with the shoulder. And now stretch the hand, bend at the wrist so that you're stretching this forearm. And breathe. Keep that rotation with the inside of the elbow pointing toward the sky. And release. Roll out your wrist a couple times. Other side, right hand is out, palm up. And then let's bend at the wrist. pulling the fingers back toward the body. The elbows shining up toward the sky, the elbows straight. And release. Rock the body weight forward onto the knees. Bring the feet around to the sides and let's come on up to a low, low squat for a few breaths, getting into our hips. So bring the elbows inside the knees, palms pressing against each other, and use those elbows to press the knees out to the side as you rock your body weight back into the heels, nice and tall through the chest. Feel those muscles in your upper back that you switched on in child's pose. Activate those muscles to get your shoulders and your head really high in the squat. And even as you do that, drive the knees out to the sides. All right, go ahead and stand up, straighten up the legs. And now stand all the way up, interlace the hands behind the back. I'm keeping my feet about mat width apart. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, hinge forward and down over the legs. And as you pull the hands overhead, let gravity kind of take over. Get that nice stretch across the fronts of the shoulders. Nod your head yes, shake your head no. Loosen up the neck. And slowly bring the hands back to the low back. Release the hands as you come back up to standing nice. All right, come on back down to the mat and have a seat. We're going to take it down to some floor stretching, which we kind of were already doing. So let's start with figure 4. So lie down. Actually, here, we'll start seated. It always bears reminding. So figure 4 doesn't have to be lying down on your back. It's comfortable when it's on your back. And the nice thing is that you can use your own hands to pull the knee toward the face. And so it's kind of, you're letting gravity help you out with the stretch. But if for some reason figure 4 is ever uncomfortable on your back, a seated figure 4 is just as good. So this is a nice way to start out. And you can always customize. See, I've got my hands behind my back, so I'm putting some weight on my hands. And you can always customize how deep you go into this stretch by how much you compress this seated figure 4. So compressing the hips toward the foot and the hands toward the hips. Or you can extend this figure 4 into a little bit more of a loose stretch and decrease the load on your hip. And so maybe play with it a little bit as you're here seated. The nice thing about a seated figure 4 is this is the sort of stretch that you can do while you're just hanging out with people, right? And so if you're ever hanging out watching a movie at your house or at someone else's house, you can do this and converse with people, you can chat, there's no reason not to be getting a nice stretch for your hips, just passively. Make it a habit, make it something, maybe that's a seed that you can plant, a habit of defaulting to getting some really great stretches for your hips as you're just hanging out. You don't need to be doing yoga to be doing yoga. It doesn't have to stay on your mat. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Pick up the left leg and cross it over the right. And in fact, people don't even need to know that you are stretching for you to be stretching. You don't have to call attention to the fact that your yoga teacher told you to stretch when you were watching movies. You could just be sitting this way. Nice deep breaths. And just like on the other side, you always have the option to customize the intensity of this stretch. by compressing it or relaxing it. All right. All right, we're gonna do something else that I don't think we've done in yoga before, but we've done this in body weight training. This is a movement called a 90-90, and it's a little bit of a strength building movement, but it's also kind of a active mobility movement. So sorry, I know we're doing it right before Shavasana, but it's a really great method. It's a great movement that explores really healthy range of motion in the hips. So the way it goes like that is start by pinwheeling your legs, and go ahead and mirror me so that neither of us gets confused. So pinwheel your legs so that your feet are both pointing one direction and your knees are both pointing the other direction. And make it as intense of a pinwheel so that you can have both of your knees on the earth and both of your feet on the earth. This is the starting position. If you like thinking about rotations, you are internally rotating one leg and externally rotating the other. Okay, so what you're gonna do is pick your hips up off the mat and then step your, I guess if you're mirroring me, you're stepping your left foot through. And then if you've got the strength to do this will add, it adds a little bit of strength for your glute. You're gonna stand up on that one leg, and now you're gonna reverse it. Sit back down, and then return to your opening position. And now you're going to switch legs. And if you can do it without touching your hands to the earth, all the better, because this is all about exploring a total range of motion in the hips. All right, so now you're going to pick your hips up, rock forward onto your left leg, step through with the right, stand up, and reverse it. Leg down, set it down. Okay, let's do this a couple more times. We can do this together because I know there's a lot of steps to it. So go ahead and rotate that pinwheel. Shift your body weight off your hips onto that right leg, step through with your left, and then back down, back to that pinwheel. Reverse. Step, lift your body weight off your hips, step through with the right, back down, back to the pinwheel. Right, you're probably getting it. Let's do it one more time each side. Reverse the pinwheel, lift the hips, step through with the left, stand up, leg back down, back to our opening position. You've learned by now that you have to set down your leg with enough space between your knee and your foot so that you can actually sit all the way down. Switch sides. Hips off the ground, step through with the right, stand up. There's some balance in this too. Return to your opening position. Okay, I know that felt really complicated, but I also think of that movement as kind of like taking your vitamins, exploring that really healthy range of motion in your hips, which connect to your low back, which connect to your glutes. A lot of good stuff going on there. Okay, let's move to a resting pose, shall we? So you've put a lot of good work in. So find yourself a reclined position or any sort of position that allows you to close your eyes and just breathe. If you would like to take any final stretches, maybe you want to hug the knees to the chest one last time. Maybe you want to take a happy baby. That's always really nice after stretching out the hips and the low back. But do begin to situate yourself eventually into a pose of stillness, whatever that looks like for you, a pose of rest, a pose that allows you to flow through your breath, not holding it, not even really cultivating it anymore. Allow the quality breath that you have already attained to just flow naturally through your body. Shavasana. And slowly begin to reawaken the body. Wiggle the fingers, the toes, roll out the wrists, the ankles. Reach the arms overhead toward the back. Point the toes toward the front. Take a deep breath and a full body stretch from fingers to toes and everything in between. And on the exhale, roll over to the right side. And when you are ready, slowly begin to press your way back up to a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. Close your eyes when you get there. Lightly rest your hands on your knees. Notice the changes that you've brought about in your breath, your joints, your muscles, your awareness, all as the result of your practice. On the next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice. Have a beautiful evening. Namaste.